Linh-chan and Dimi-chan craft art. Hello and welcome back, everyone.
Hello, welcome back.
Welcome back, Chan-chans.
Chan-chans.
So we're continuing the Naruto craze.
Yes.
This time making one of my favorite characters. Who is it?
Jiraiya.
How do you know? Because it's on the thumbnails.
It's on the thumbnails. And in the title.
So we tried something a little different this time.
We did?
Yeah, we put my watch in the upper left corner, so you can see how fast everything is going. That's the seconds spinning wildly.
Yeah.
So, starting off, what are you doing?
Making the head.
Okay. So, as usual, you spin up the paper and then use that dome shape to kind of give it a shape.
Yeah.
And here you're making the arms and legs, I believe.
The body.
Oh, the body. Sorry.
It's always the head, the body, the arms, the legs, the base.
And then you mix it up on me.
and then I sometimes occasionally I screw up. But yeah.
So, bringing back the cones.
Bringing back the cones. You can see I had a lot of trouble with this one. There are certain papers that are certain colors that give me a lot of trouble. Usually the gray colors is one of them.
Why?
The paper is a lot thicker.
So the measurements are different? Like the amount of strips that you use?
No, the amount of strip is the same. It's just, it's thicker so it doesn't roll as smoothly. And of course, since I don't glue the strips together into one long strand and then roll that up, I do like little increments. And then I add in a strip, so they don't really flow together. So then sometimes when I twirl it, my right hand sometimes used too much strength and sometimes I use too little strength. So the tightness of the coil, I guess, it's not consistent.
Got it.
And then depending on the paper, some papers are thicker than others. The gray one, it's always thicker, even though it's from the same packet as other colors. I guess it depends on like how the fibers absorbed up the color pigment, and some are different, I guess.
Or maybe different types of papers are used for different colors.
Could be, because not all type. Maybe not all the papers can absorb nicely. But yeah.
So, you made the body and now you're making the arms.
Arms, yeah.
So, you're using your handy dandy 3-pen structure to extrude the shapes.
Yeah.
And then you always like put a little glue to give it some stability, right?
Yeah, so it can keep the shape and stay rigid. Like some people might think that, oh, since it's paper and glue, it's probably very flimsy, but it's not. Once the glue dry, it's really rough. It's really hard.
Yeah,
you can throw it and it will still be fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But don't throw.
Like the figure might come into different pieces and you just glue them back.
Yeah.
But it's not like an indent or anything.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost resembles, like, once it's fully put together, as if it was carved wood.
Or, no, more like paper mache. You know how paper mache is really hard and...
But this feels denser than paper mache. Paper mache feels, like, abnormally light for what it is, whereas this just feels like a light piece of wood that was carved and painted or something of that sort.
So here I'm making his clunk, which I call
also known
them.
as shoes.
The shoes, but they're the Japanese shoes, the wooden ones that has the
clogs.
The clogs, the two little pegs underneath. And so whenever you walk, it makes clunk, clunk, clunk. So I call them the clunk, clonks. So
you made the feet thinner than usual, so that way you can have room for the clunkers.
Yeah. Well, overall, the height of the feet
is the same.
Is usually 3 millimeters. And so what I did was I started off with a 3 millimeter. I cut it in half into a 1.5. Then if I were to put it together, it becomes a 1 millimeter again.
And right there, you just filled the little hole,
I fill in the little hole. Just one of them, because one of them is going to be the face. And then the other one's going to be the back, which gets covered up by the hair. So it's okay. But we used to have a figure where... like my first ones usually have a hole right there because that's where the tool goes in. So there's a clunk, as you can see. So usually the tool goes in, and then when you take the tool out, of course, you know, there's a hole there, and it looks bizarre.
Mm-hmm. So here you're making his
front
vests,
of his
chest.
It's not a
chest
vest. The front of his shirt, and he's wearing sort of like a kimono top.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ancient style of clothing.
It's
so
very
I want
ancient.
it to make it look like that. You know?
It's so ancient they still wear it today. It's his chain link undershirt.
Which is funny, I didn't realize it's made of chains and just together. I thought it was like a kind of like a thermal, but just like a nylon kind of ish, like, you know.
Well, they're ninjas, right? They need to protect themselves. They are handling those kunai, and those things are sharp.
But it's so funny how if you look at the clothes themselves, like it's so funny how some of them wear the chain link so not
freely.
Yeah, so freely, like it doesn't do the purpose. So right there, what I did, the red, I realized I used the wrong color. It needs to be a little bit more red than brown, as you can see the difference in the colors. So then I was like, oh, gotta redo it.
Redo.
And then that's gonna be his little vest that he wears.
Cutting out the armholes.
Just gonna be like that. And it's the same stencil from when I made what's her face?
She doesn't have a face.
What's her name? When I made Aruka from Hunter x Hunter, she has sort of the similar outfit as Jiraiya.
Cheating again.
It's kind of nice that like I can use the same stencil for a lot of stuff, and then just tweaking it a certain details.
Yeah, you're certainly getting to that point where you're
I have enough
doing
stencils.
more and more.
I have enough stencils from my previous figures that I can just do that. But overall, it's not that hard. It's just very meticulous, so it has to be a certain way. But other than that, it's very easy to do once you know the techniques. You know, I've only been doing this for a year, and I guess a year is a long time then.
Yeah.
But
well, you keep at it, and you've improved every step of the way. So
yeah. Sorry, we don't have enough videos to make it a year's worth. Even though I've been doing it a year, we don't have a year's worth.
They weren't recorded.
Yeah. So here I'm doing the ears, I believe.
One day we'll do a showcase of all the figures that you have. Yeah. You've made.
Just a little video of showing everything that I have. But good news, we have good news.
Yeah. You wanna share?
Yeah. So we got accepted into Fanime. I guess it's one of the biggest convention up north. So
in California.
In California, anyway. So we got accepted there, and Fanime is based on merit. So you have like a window where you can submit in an application, and then they judge it based on a certain criteria, depending whether you're doing drawing or like other creative crafts. And it's on a point system. And so they judge it, and then they'll say whether you're approved or not. So we got approved, at least the initial stage anyway. And we still have to do like all the paperwork and continuing the process. But we got approved into Fanime, so
we definitely plan on going.
Yeah, to test it out. So
you say we, but it's really all you.
It's me and you.
I'm the
That's
supporting.
What I meant. We.
Not me by you. It's you guys watching.
Yeah.
You guys get to go too. Say hi. Come find us.
If you do attend, come find us.
So here you're making his forehead protection.
It's what is that called?
Headgear?
His headband.
It's not really a headband though. It's not really a band. It's more of a hard piece of metal.
Yeah, but it shows off who he is and where he's from. Like the Leaf Village all have that leaf one on the head. His is...
Not a leaf one.
Not a leaf, but a character. So... There's a lot.
Sage?
There's a lot to his hair.
I think it's Sage.
Maybe. I don't know what that character is. But there's a lot to his hair. Oil. That's not oil. Come on.
Or alcohol.
It's not alcohol either.
They all look like that though. See, I have a very bad memory for characters. I remember what they look like ish. So they all look like that.
Maybe it's alcohol. I don't know. There's water. There's that water radical.
Yeah, and then there's like a little container of sorts.
So we'll see.
The 3 weaknesses of the ninja, right? Women, booze, and gambling.
Of him.
Well, he tries to make everyone. He tries to bring everyone into it.
Can we go back to this real quick? So I made his head, but he has like a tail. So there I made sort of like a comb thing to be the
base, right?
The base of his hair. And then afterwards I'm gonna glue like strips of paper on top of it. So that's just to give it a shape.
And these are the decorations on his
the
kimono.
2 circles. He turned out really good. I was really proud of him. And after I made Jiraiya, I compared it to all my other figures. This one is my favorite one. But you can see his clonk right there.
I think it's just the clonks that are your favorite. Like that did it for you.
And his hair. His hair was good. So right there I started on the hair, but since the base of the hair is still wet, so I couldn't really glue any strips onto it right now. So I'm letting it dry as I move on to make the scroll that he carries with him. And this paper is thicker. So that paper I used, I believe, was like a 7mm.
I'd say wider rather than thicker. Because when I think of thicker, I mean like
the thickness of the paper. I meant thickness and width.
Yeah.
English.
Also known as width.
The width is bigger. There you go. So there.
So this is a scroll.
Yeah. So it turns out the paper that I did earlier that I meant to make his vest in, it worked out for this one, so I continue using it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And here you're doing the edges or the inner part of the
scroll. So that's supposed to be like technically the wood. You know, usually it's the wood, and then the outside is the paper. And this is my grass hand.
A beautiful grass hand.
Sorry if you can't see it. I hope that's better.
And now you're continuing the hair.
Now I'm continuing the hair. Yeah, it's his ponytail. So I use that cone shape thing that I made earlier to give it sort of like a thickness to the hair, so it doesn't look too thin. And that way I don't have to put so much strips of hair either. I just need to do enough to cover it up.
Well,
and that's his headband, which I realized I used the wrong color.
Hair tie, you mean?
Yeah, his hair tie. It's supposed to be like a brownish yellow, but I end up using black, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was like one scene that showed the accurate color.
Yeah, they never showed it. So now I'm preparing the scroll and putting it on him.
This is backpack straps.
Which is really interesting. It's, I guess the way it is, it's under his vest, so he has it on first, and then the vest goes on top, so you never really see the wires. So the way I did it, I just like tuck it under his arm, so then it's as if it's under the vest in a way.
Magic.
And that's his hair usually.
But we're not done yet, right?
No, we're not done yet.
I like how you use your crinkler to hold them up.
I have nothing to hold up anything. So you'll see later, what I did was really funny.
Very creative indeed.
A bit, yeah. So here I'm making the base to have him stand on. And like I said before, if you watch any of our previous videos, the base is usually the color of the title or something similar. And then I play around with the different shades. And I think Naruto is blue and yellow and orange. So anything around those shades are fine. So there you go. So since his head is still wet, I was trying to like hold it up. So I used the erasers and the pens, and I don't know why I thought that would work. But
and by the end of it, it dried.
Yeah, by the end of it, it dried, and it actually was just standing on its own, the head. So, let me try to remember what I'm doing. Oh, I'm making his book. So he has 3 books that he wrote. Actually,
Icha
4.
Paradise.
But this is 3 of them.
The 3 famous ones.
The 3 famous one because it's kinky. But yeah, so making the books so he can hold. So this one there's a lot more details in him than compared to other figures.
I think you're invested in making him look good.
Well,
you did the clunk clunk so perfectly. You need to like follow through, right?
Well, because since they don't have faces, it's the details that's what make them stand out and be different from all the other figures. So then I have to be very detailed and meticulous about things. So these are the 3 books that he wrote.
Oh, all together.
They're so cute. They're so tiny.
Well, you're not done.
And I tried to read the title on there. It was so hard because it's so tiny. So that's supposed to be like two little people on there. So there is a title. And a stack of books. And let's see. What am I doing? Oh, making his hands. No hands yet.
You usually do the hands a lot earlier.
I usually do the hands with the ears,
yeah.
yes. So that's why occasionally I switch things up.
And here I am editing. I'm like expecting hands. I'm like, ooh, did I delete the hands by accident?
So there you go.
And there's Jiraiya.
Yeah.
So
that's my prototype when I was doing it. So since it's dry, it's starting to show off.
I love the look of the chainmail. The chain link shirt. And the hair looks really good. And one of my secret pleasures of watching you make these is seeing like an old version of all the characters as they're balding. So that's Jiraiya, everyone. I hope you enjoyed.
He's my favorite.
Who are you making next week?
Next week it's gonna be Gara.
Well, look forward to it.
Yep.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.